Good morning everyone, and welcome to an episode of Cinnamon Stitches. I'm your yarn host Jennifer. This is going to be a very quick little tutorial on how I made the Nordica scarf. This scarf was super easy to make. It wasn't super quick to make, but it was easy. And the reason it wasn't super quick is because I was using a small hook, and most of these stitches are single crochet. And that can take a little extra time, but I absolutely love the look of this scarf, and I think it is worth the time to put in to get this scarf made. What I have here, pair of travel scissors. I have a 4.25 millimeter hook, and I have exactly one skein of Nordica. Now, the way I started this is it started off with the darker of the colors, which is the thinner of the colors. So the stripes have thicker, the lighter color is thicker, and the darker color is a thinner stripe. And it just so happened with the pink one, the first color that came out of the center of the ball was the darker color. But if by chance I get the lighter color, I am going to probably have to, cut it. So, now don't worry, because I actually had yarn left over from the pink one. And I'm just going to pull until I get to the dark. This looks like you're wasting it, but you can always add this onto the end if you need to. It's not a big deal. I had enough left over to make myself a really pretty headband with the pink. So, see, there, got the dark color. Okay, I'm going to grab my scissors. I'm just going to do a little snip. Of course, scissors from the Dollar Tree don't work real well, but... Alright, now, to start, I'm going to start with a slip knot. Okay. And then I'm going to chain 51. If there's background noise, I apologize. My dishwasher is running. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 3, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, and 51. Okay, I got 51. Now, this whole first row is going to be half double crochets, okay? So, you take the first chain from the hook, and you put a half double crochet in it. And you do 50 half double crochets all the way across the first row, okay? And I will meet you at the end of this row. Okay, so now we're at the end. We have 50 half double crochets. Okay, now here is where your options lie, because there is more than one way to do this scarf. And I'm going to show you on this one. Okay, the pink one. Because of the way this worked out, we had the white patterning showing up right away. So I switched to single crochets. This is just row after row after row of 50 single crochets. Chain 1, 50 single crochets. Chain 1, 50 single crochets. All the way up. Now, when the white pattern stops, and you'll see on this yarn, if you look, this is all solid. This is like the copper color, okay? Solid, solid, solid. Now, while I see the solid, I do half double crochets. So since there's all this solid, my next row will be half double crochets. You can always change it up and you can do the whole thing single crochets if you want. Okay, see where the white came in? Now we're starting to see not just copper, but the white. When I get to that part of the yarn, my next row will be single crochets. Okay, so let's go over that again. As long as I'm seeing a solid color coming through, I do half double crochets. Okay, these are all half double crochets. And then when the white spots start to come through, I change it to single crochets. Now if that confuses you, by all means, you can do this entire thing single crochet if you want. It's just going to change this little tiny section in between the colors. Do you see where there's like almost ridges? That's the difference between single and half double crochets. Okay, you can do the whole thing 50 single crochets until you get to the end, and I stopped on the darker color so that my ends were even, so that both ends were dark. And once I got to my last strip of dark, I ended the row. Okay, so this part of the pattern is entirely up to you. If you want to do the whole thing single crochets, by all means, go ahead. Okay, so the options here are completely up to you. You can do the whole thing single crochets, 50 single crochets every row, chain 1, 50 single crochets, or you follow along with me. Okay, so I got to the end of the row. This is my last half double crochet, and I'm going to just chain 1. Even though the next row is going to be half double crochets, I chained 1. Okay, and then in the same very first stitch is going to be a half double crochet. This row will be half double crochets all the way across. So there will be 50 half double crochets in this row. And when I get to the end, I will chain 1, turn, and look at the colors and see where I'm at. So I'll meet you at the end. Okay, here we are. We're back at the end of the row. We have done another row of 50 half double crochets. Okay, now if we look ahead, there is the white. So there's only a small section of solid color, and now we see white again. Now when we start to see white between our hook and our skein, usually about a foot, so 12 to 18 inches. If in that 12 to 18 inches it's all solid, go ahead and do another row of half double crochet. If you see the white like I have here, chain 1 and switch to single crochet. Now this sounds complicated, but I promise you it is so easy once you get the hang of it. Okay, chain 1, and then we will single crochet this row. Okay, 1 all the way to 50. So we need 50 single crochets across this row. And I will meet you at the end of this row to show you what the white patches look like. Alright, here we are at the end of our row. And you see, that's what the white patches start off looking like. And it started mid-row, which is fine. And then the next row will have white patches going all the way across. So the next row, you just chain 1, turn, and as long as you see those white dots, you will have your next row will be single crochet, 50 single crochet across. So you continue doing this until you get to the solid copper color again. So the pattern on this yarn will go solid, patterned, it will go back to solid, and I'll show you on my scarf that is finished. Solid, patterned, solid, and then it will cut into the pink. Now here you see I just continued on half double crochets here, and you have kind of a sharp line where the colors divide. See if I can get that in the light. You can see it goes dark to pink, very sharp cut off there. Now what I did later on in the scarf, See if I can show you. When I saw it was going to change color, I changed this row to single crochet so that the sharp color is not as noticeable. I mean, you can still see that there's pink here and there's purple here, but from a distance it is not as noticeable. See, that one I can't even see at all. And it's just, I would do half double crochet, and when I see the colors getting ready to change, I change it to single crochet. And you guys don't have to do that. If that doesn't bother you, by all means, keep it half double all the way across. Okay, I just wanted to show you guys some options. So what's going to happen next is you're going to crochet along, and these will be all single crochets, row after row. And then see here, I knew that the solid was going to come, so even though there was still white here, I just switched to half double crochet, and it doesn't really affect the pattern all that greatly. So this part is all entirely up to you. If that bothers you, this whole row can be single crochet. If it doesn't bother you, it can be half double crochet. Just whatever you choose. And that is the pattern. That's all you have to do. When you see that the solid is coming up, you can change it to half double, or you can leave it single, whatever. It's just row after row of 50 single crochets, half double crochets, single crochets. And then when I got to the other end, see how this has only one solid, one stripe of the dark? I did the same on the other end. I did one row of the solid, even though this one will have 2 rows of the solid. So the other end of this one will have 2 rows of the solid copper, and then I'll cut it. And then I did fringe. And the fringe is super easy to do. You just wrap this. I wrapped it around a piece of wood that I had to the length that I wanted. I cut off all one side. I pulled the strings off, and each one of these is two pieces of yarn. You fold it in half. Let me pull one apart so you can see. See if I can get it apart. Okay, let's see. 2 pieces of yarn, fold it in half, grab your handy dandy crochet hook. Well, let's see if I can get it off. And then I did every other single crochet. So I did a single crochet here, I skipped a stitch, and then I put another fringe in there. So you poke it in the hole, you grab the half part, you pull it through, grab the rest of the yarn, pull it through. Uh-oh, I missed a piece. Did I? Nope. Maybe. Yep, I missed a piece. Okay, so you pull them all through the loop, and I did it backwards, but that's alright, you get the idea. And then you have your fringe. And that's the key, is to do it all through the same direction so that the knots are all on the same side. Okay, so I'll fix that. But there you go. That's pretty easy. If you guys have any questions, I will write down the instructions to this in the description box. And if you have any questions, of course, I will try to answer them in the comment section. And I hope you guys enjoyed my very first video tutorial. I hope it was easy to follow. I tried to make it not complicated. So, singles and half double crochets, if you can do that, you can do this and play with it. Don't be afraid to do something different than what I did. I mean, if you want this to be a thinner scarf, because this is a wide scarf, by all means, make this 40 stitches, make it 30 stitches, make it 25 stitches. You have a real thin scarf and it'll be really long. Of course, this pattern will be thicker if you make it 25 stitches, but this pattern will change slightly no matter how many stitches you do. So, alright guys, I hope you have a fantastic day.